Okay. DGP 101. Arsenal 0. PSG uno. Good morning, Steven.
Howdy, KP. We're coming to you on a hump day. It's Wednesday morning, hitting you early as we usually do. I gotta say, energy level's okay over here. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. Not too worried about anything. How we doing, KP?
I wouldn't put it as good. I don't feel good about the results. I don't feel great about the performance. There's a lot of things to chat about, which is a positive. It's going to be a fun little morning before work. But overall, I am remaining pretty optimistic about what could happen because there's no way we play to that same level at the away game, right?
No, I feel good. I feel positive. That's the way I should say. I feel positive. I'm not taking yesterday as a drastic turn. Still another leg to go. I think there's some things that we obviously need to talk about of why the result happened the way it did. So yeah, I feel optimistic. I feel positive going into next week, baby.
Yeah, I mean, let me just first give a big shout out to our following on Blue Sky, Gilla Gunner, Martinelli Hive, UGA Gooner. They all engaged with a post yesterday after the game where I said, Arsenal really know how to let you down sometimes, eh? And Gilla Gunner said, nah, we just like doing things the hard way to show how amazing we are. Martinelli Hive VP, we're going to get to Martinelli today, but he said, just got to pull up to France like women's team did, I guess. And then UGA Gooner said, still well in this. So to your point, at least our following feeling pretty optimistic about the prospect.
Interesting. Fan base online better than the fan base in the stadium, it sounds like. But yeah, give a shout out to the ladies. I saw they had a big win over Lyon. Comeback tie away from home. They came back. I don't know what the final aggregate was. It was like 5-3, 5-2, something like that. Shout out to them.
Yeah, dude. I think it ended up being 5-3. They had lost the home game 2-1. And they went to France. They scored early, made it 2-2, super early. And then I think at some point they were winning maybe 4-0, that away tie. So really, really incredible stuff from the women. It's positive to see one Arsenal team in the Champions League final already. I think they're playing against Barcelona actually in the final. So it should be very, very good for them, especially this head coach. You remember she took over as an interim and went on that huge unbeaten run and is just continued to deliver. I mean, the mindset she set. This is not the first comeback they've had in the Champions League. They were also losing against Real Madrid, you might remember. And they did the remontada. So it's really positive stuff around the women. For the men, I hear you about the fans in the stadium. I think that's kind of where I want to start. I had made a call out in the last episode about the atmosphere. That's what I'll be watching for. I heard those French ultras the entire game, and I could not be more disappointed with the atmosphere that the Emirates created.
I gotta say, beginning of the game, the hype was there. The energy felt there. Dare I say, the first couple minutes, I thought I heard whistles. It's like, okay, respect. But hey, man, when a goal goes in the fourth minute, I really think it deflated everything. The energy seemed to really be lost off of a very uncharacteristic defensive lapse from Arsenal. I feel like the fans just really... I think it's fair to say they kind of let the team down a bit. That's how it felt from watching on TV. Obviously, I'm not there. I don't know what the actual experience was like. But from watching on television, yeah, it seemed like they let the players down a bit.
A little bit. It's always difficult when the game kickoff is a little bit delayed to, like, they do this memorial stuff, every now and then. And they did that for the Pope Francis, who had passed away. Rest in peace. But it's also kind of like, it does bring the mood down a little bit right before you kick off. And it's kind of hard to... It's one of those moments of silence that you don't want to like cheer super hard after that minute of silence, right? So puts everyone in a little bit of an awkward situation. But I hear you about that early goal. You know, the funny thing about those first like 4 or 5 minutes that I was watching it, I felt like they were bossing us, right? Like off kickoff, we kind of had the ball, then they got it, and then they were just passing it around, controlling it really nicely. It was to a point where, as an observer, I thought, wait, this is the Emirates. Like, this is what we do. This is how we look against teams. But that first 5 minutes, they looked like they were bossing, dude.
I'm going to extend that to like the first 20. I thought they outclassed us. There was a while I was like, we can't lay a glove on them. We just cannot lay a glove on these dudes. We are swinging and absolutely missing. Their press was great, but the way they had possession, I think they were playing super wide. Like when you can see Hakimi and whoever, I guess it would have been Doué on the far right side, staying wide towards the touchline. So when they swing it around, they're able to find somebody on the opposite side. I think Arsenal's defense, we're known for being compact, kind of having our line set, but being very compact, you can't come down the middle. They said, all right, that's fine. We're going to go out to the left. Screw it. We're going back out to the right. They that first 20 minutes, they really outclassed us. They obviously saw something. Luis Enrique is a hell of a manager. We know that. So he had something up his sleeve, I think.
Absolutely, dude. And I mean, I think you made the shout that it was a bit of a defensive lapse for their goal, but I felt like they just passed right through us. Like, I'm not even sure if I would call it a defensive lapse. There was a moment where I feel like Declan Rice goes for the double when the ball goes out wide. At that exact moment, yes, I think you can call that a defensive lapse because he just leaves Dembele wide open on the top of the box. But leading up to it, dude, they just knocked it around us and played it right through us. It's nice to see. You gotta put respect where it's due.
Respect, absolutely. The buildup was fantastic. To get out of our press, I think it was their left back Mendes had a fantastic pass into the midfield. I mean, getting out of the press was great from them. The reason it's a defensive lapse, how are you going to let Ousmane Dembele, probably their most informed attacker right now, dude had like 10 yards of space, man. That's a lapse. That makes no sense to me how you're going to leave this dude wide the hell open. Like, yes, I guess that's what a lot of the, discussion could be today is who should have been picking him up. Could have been Declan Rice. Could have been another midfielder. I think Trossard was like somewhere in the region, even though he's playing up top. Like, he's obviously tracking back. Somebody should have picked this dude up. That's one of the danger men as you're running back. It's like, who's on him? Who's on him? Who's on him? Absolutely nobody. It wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but when you shoot, good things happen, and good things happen for them.
It was one of those moments where when you watch it back and they make that pass to Dembele, you can see how split far apart Marino and Declan Rice are. They both got really pulled apart, and Dembele is just sitting in the middle, and that's a point where, I was wearing my Big Gabby jersey yesterday because I wanted him to be there in spirit watching the game, and it's one of those moments where I've seen Big Gabby be really tight on the striker who drops deep, and he commits a foul usually. Center backs both kind of dropped off. Center mids were both split. You're asking who should have been there? I'll tell you who should have fucking been there. TP5 should have been there because from the minute 1 until minute 90, right after the extension talk on the last episode, it became clear he is the one that makes Arsenal go. The build-up, Steven, did not look the same at all. Declan Rice was struggling picking up the ball from the center backs.
Oof. I think I was I want to say I was stern, maybe upset with him on the last pod for getting that yellow card. And yesterday proved that. There is no better version of Arsenal than with Thomas Partey at the 6. There's just not. I believe there's a lot of statistics out there about him playing, even in the squad versus not in the squad, him playing at right back versus in the midfield. And those numbers absolutely prove when he's in our midfield, we are a better team. We just are. Declan Rice had a good game yesterday. I'm not going to say he did not, because he absolutely did. And there were moments I think he was our best midfielder by far. Head and shoulders above the other two. But if you're able to push him up into the 8 and Thomas Partey there, our midfield just got a whole hell of a lot better, did it not?
No, I agree with you. He was the best midfielder that we had. I just felt like especially in that first 20 minutes, to your point, how they were dominating us. Those are moments where you just really feel TP5's presence, how he can drop back and just be comfortable receiving that ball, playing it forward, playing it through the lines. And those were some of the moments that were missing.
I am 100% with that. And that's why I kind of feel positive. We got out of that 1-0. They probably should have scored a few more. Let's be honest with ourselves. They probably should have put a couple more past us. If we're going to have Thomas Partey going into Paris, I feel a little bit better. Our level is going to be a little bit higher than it was yesterday. And if the level was at a 1-0, I'm expecting a better result. So that's where I'm sitting with it. Thomas Partey on the field yesterday, I can almost say for sure I think it's a different result.
I agree because, it would really allow us to have different things. I thought Trossard did okay up top, but we certainly were missing that target man. And there was a shot actually during the game where they showed Kai Havertz in the stands, and he looked like he wanted to play so bad. And that's the thing about Kai, dude, that I just got to bring up and I got to appreciate. And I miss him. I really do miss him. Let's stick to the midfield. I think it was exposed early and often. I think Marino did all right. You had made a shout out in the preview pod about physicality being the one thing that maybe we can help us dominate that midfield. You said the game kind of comes down to the midfield, but there are two smaller midfielders, Vitinha and João Neves. I mean, they dominated, Steven. The tackles they were making, perfect. And they were winning second balls. I felt like they were passing through us. So I do have to say the physicality just did not show up. And we got a little bit outclassed. And then there's one guy in particular who we have to spend some time talking about, Steven. Martin Odegaard. I want to say that was his worst performance in an Arsenal shirt.
Are you telling me, was he playing yesterday? Was Odegaard playing yesterday? Was he on the field?
It was unclear. The first 30 minutes, it was definitely unclear. I felt like the one time I saw him touch the ball, it was a defensive moment for him, and then he ended up losing it anyways. The second half, I can't really remember his involvement. The only sort of things that he was involved with was taking the free kicks, which in the second half, they were like, you know what, actually, Declan Rice should take the free kicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the game was lost in the midfield. Absolutely, it was. Those two small guys dominated. I thought Fabian Ruiz had a good game. Vitinha ended up with man of the match. I think it should have gone to Donnarumma, but Vitinha got it because I think the midfield was won. So fair play. The physicality didn't work because we couldn't lay a glove on them. They spread us out, and were picking passes through us left and right. There were moments in that game. You got Marino, you got Declan Rice. Declan Rice has his little flashes. He's running through, right? He's breaking through the line. Marino, that was probably his, I don't think he played bad, but it's probably his worst performance in the last 5 games he's had for us. He's been really, really solid. He just more of a bystander yesterday. And then there are those moments where it's like, where's Odegaard? This is a perfect game for Odegaard to now implant himself, change the pace of things, really dominate it for us. And I just can't remember any moment that he had on the ball, KP. And that's bad. I can't remember a single thing he did where it's like he's creating a chance for us. He's taking a shot. A lot of pressing. I see him running around a lot. That's great. You're going to get the energy level from him. That's great. But I think a lot of dudes can give you the energy level. I think a lot of dudes can give you the press. We need something else from him. I'm hoping he obviously comes out for the second leg, but there's a huge discussion point about Odegaard this week. I think everyone's going to be talking about where was Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, I think so too. I posted on Blue Sky after the game, Martin Odegaard, can we discuss? And Adam Whitehead on Blue Sky responded saying that he is genuinely baffled by some of the decisions he's making at the moment, can't seem to pick a pass, and not having any impact on the game. don't know what's happened to him. That's, I think, the biggest point for me, that none of us really know what has happened to him, because it's just, you're not getting the same Odegaard of the last 2 years. Could it be, I mean, the ankle injury? Ankle injuries can be pretty serious, to be honest with you. But, we're months past it now. We're months past it.
There was I feel like we got little flashes when Saka came back. Little flashes of it, but man, you said it yesterday was his worst performance, I'll say, of the season. I agree with that. Man, the lights were bright yesterday. The lights were very, very bright. I'm going to go ahead and say with my chest, KP, he was our worst player on the field yesterday.
Yeah. No, I think I totally agree with that. And the question for me is, did they nullify Martin Odegaard, or did he just not show up? I think before the Madrid game, I shared with you that one of my biggest worries is that Arsenal fold. We've had these moments where the lights are really bright. It's a big game. You need big performances. And the best player, we'll get to him, was an 18-year-old in the red and white shirt. And that's a problem, because you want your captain there. You want your captain for a semi-final in the Champions. This was the last game at the Emirates in the Champions League this season. And your effort to hide, I felt like he was hiding, Steven.
Interesting. That'd be a real shame. I expect, obviously, we're talking about the day after the game. We're just talking about what we saw. To actually know if he was marked out of the game, whether it was him himself just not playing to a level, somebody with a level head is going to rewatch the game and come out with that information, which you love to see. You need to see it. We're just talking emotion right now, right? Someone's going to come out and be like, no, this is what PSG did. This is their tactics, yada, yada. Hopefully that's the case. I hope so, KV. I hope it wasn't just Odegaard. But giving the shout out to Miles Lewis-Skelly after the game, I'm seeing a lot of stuff online. Get Lewis-Skelly in the midfield, dog. You kidding me? Leaving this dude at left back. Best player on the field for us. Playing with confidence. Our captain's not doing it, but we got this young kid, and Declan Rice was, again, our best midfielder. Why can't these two just run the midfield? Hey, shout out Lewis-Skelly. Big things to happen for him next season. I can see him coming into the midfield.
I mean, man of the match for Arsenal easily, right?
I think it was between him and Rice. I mean, you could even give Raya a shout, to be honest. But best player on the field, I'd give it to Lewis-Skelly, yeah.
I mean, I would, because I mentioned the atmosphere, and I felt like 22 minutes had passed, and it was the first time that somebody finally got the crowd going, and it was Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, Steven, watching that game, it just felt like it was one of those games that you need to have personality. You need to rely on your personal brilliance, because there's a lot of one-on-ones happening, and you have to beat your man one-on-one and drive through. That's when we had our best moments. Lewis-Skelly got the ball in the middle, turned, was able to dribble through, and then slotted Martinelli through for his chance that was saved. Declan Rice, I think in the second half, had another amazing run from deep, carrying the ball, played Trossard through. He got saved. But that's what you have to rely on. And at times during games like this, again, I was going back to the transfer window and the player we've been asking for, the guy who can just take over a game, not being there, the person who can just change things on his own for you.
Yeah, we saw one on the field. We saw one that was available in January that we didn't get. PSG took. Thought he had a good game. I mean, Lewis-Skelly, how exciting for this dude. If we had another left back in the squad, man, if we had Calafiori there, if we had Tomiyasu, maybe things are different. Maybe we're able to, those first 20 minutes, we need a tactical change, right? Arteta can work something up. I mean, he couldn't make, there's a lot of people complaining about his subs and whatnot. You look at the bench. What is he going to do? Oh, our first sub's defensive sub. What are we doing? You want to put Sterling on? I don't want to put Sterling on. That's a useless sub. That's useless. I don't want to play 10v11. So should we have done business in January? I can't tell you that until after the second leg, KP. Because what if we go ahead? What if we go ahead and go through? But we're talking about Lewis Skelly on the left. We got to talk about Timber on the right. He goes 1v1 with this dude, number 7. I think you have some strong opinions. I have some strong opinions on it. So go ahead and lay it on me, dog.
Yeah, I mean, he's your one to watch. This could become a little combative, this conversation. But I feel like the first 30 minutes, to your point, Julian Timber exposed. I think exposed. I was surprised he didn't get a yellow. I have to be honest with you. I thought, I mean, he had like 5 fouls in the first 20 minutes. And like the 6th one, I guess, is a yellow, right? The way it was going. I did feel like 7 on PSG had a really good game. You could tell we treated him as a threat, as their biggest threat. And, you know, Timber did fine. He did fine. But I just felt like he was the only player from a defensive standpoint that was actually getting pulled apart.
I think he did for the first 15-ish minutes. There were absolutely moments where like, damn, this guy's going at him. I pulled up some stats. Timber was dribbled past 1 time yesterday.
It felt more.
It did feel like more, but again, this is us just watching the game. When you see him go, I guess number 7, Kvaratskhelia, have probably 2-3 moments. So he obviously had the assist. I'm not putting that on Timber. Again, I don't know why nobody's even looking in Dembele's direction. He got a few fouls in him. That's fair. I think the ref was... Is he a talking point from yesterday? I can say no. I don't think he was very good. I think Hakimi came out of the game with also 6 or 7 fouls. He didn't get a yellow card.
He got a yellow card. He didn't get a second yellow. He did get a yellow card.
Okay. But number 7, here's what I'll go ahead and say. This is my issue with number 7. The commentator's talking about Timber on the ropes. This guy's going at him. He's taking his lunch money. And I'm like, I don't know. He's obviously got the assist. He's dribbled past him 1 time. Obviously, Timber knows he needs to level up. Timber comes in, wins the ball. He gets called for a foul at half, coming into his back. Number 7 had his foot on top of the ball. Timber comes in, pokes the ball away. He touches the ball, but he gets a foul. I don't think number 7 liked it. I don't think he liked Timber touching him. Soon after that, I want to say 5 minutes after that foul, he switched sides. Now, KP, here's my question. If you're telling me you got this man on toast, you're taking this dude's lunch money, you're going to say, let's switch sides? I'm going to go out to the right wing? Hell no. Barbecue chicken, I'm going at this dude, right? So that's my issue with number 7. Obviously, I think he had a good game, but I don't like people saying Timber had a bad game because I don't think he did. If you're going to tell me this guy's got him bar for bar, 1v1, and then you're going to switch sides, either I'm going to say you have a mentality issue or you actually don't think you can get the better of him. I don't think he thought he could get the better of him.
Yeah, switching sides, I mean, not a great decision. You're switching to our best player's side. So, like, obviously you didn't read the scouting report. But I hear you. I do, because I didn't think that Timber was bad. I wouldn't say he had a bad game. I felt like I said in the early moments, he was getting exposed. He did his best. He had his good moments. He did drive forward as he was needed. He stood up to the task, tall task, right? And he has to go up against this person again. It looked like he was actually struggling a little bit with injuries in that second half too. So I got to give him credit for kind of playing through that to make sure Ben White can come in at an appropriate time for his health as well. But, you know, sticking to the back line, Saliba and Kiwior, I thought they had good moments, right? I mean, Kiwior, we've been a little bit worried about him, a lot, actually, not a little bit, but he was good offensively in the free kick situations. I think he got 1 header on target, and defensively, I mean, Saliba, he He put in some proper tackles. There were one or two Saliba tackles that felt good, dude. They felt good to watch.
Both center backs had a decent game. Kiwior is just, man, dude has risen to the level. I don't think he's put a foot wrong in these Champions League games, barring the first 5 minutes of that Real Madrid game at home. I thought he had a solid game yesterday. Really solid. He actually had some nice long balls yesterday, which I'm looking for. He's actually got a nice foot, so he can play those long balls. Saliba, he's had it's a couple of games in a row now that he's had a moment or two where it's like a little shaky, I would say. He did have a few of those, but defensively had a huge tackles. So obviously, our back line, that's our bread and butter. Moving forward, one player we don't even have it on our doc here, but you got to mention. So we're talking about number 7. I had pulled up Timber stats, and I had pulled up number 7 stats just to take a look. His defensive stats yesterday were off the chain. 3 clearances, 2 interceptions, 5 total tackles.
Wow.
That leads to Saka. You're like, where was Saka at yesterday? They obviously doubled this man up. Mendes is a good left back. I know he went 1v1 against Salah and got the better of him in both legs. I don't think Salah really came up with anything in that matchup. Yesterday, tough sledding for Saka. And shout out to number 7 for actually coming back to defend him.
Yeah, I thought Saka was relatively quiet by his standards, by what we expect from him. I can't really remember a great chance that he created. There were a few moments where he dribbled through, played some one-on-ones, switched the ball nicely. He did have a shot, I think, that was a little bit tamed that the keeper saved. But, other than that, I did feel like Martinelli was probably our better winger on the day.
That's what it comes down to. If you're going to be doubling up Saka, you're really going to nullify him out of the game. Your other winger got to step up. Martinelli Hive, where are you today? How are you feeling about that performance?
Dude, I mean, you've said this a few times on the pod. Like, this is Martinelli. He's going to give you the moment at the Bernabeu where he's through on goal and finishes it. And then he's going to give you the moment against PSG when you need him to score, the chance that he gets, and he lets you down. And it's that simple. Everybody in that stadium and their mother knew what he was going to do when he was through. And that's a big-ass goalkeeper, bro. That's a big man in there. He saves those.
Got a big paw to that. Obviously, it wasn't a terrible attempt because it was on frame. But, man, you wish he put that one away. He had one late, very late in the game. He put that thing into the into the top tier.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, come on, dude. What are we doing? Put that thing into the top tier. I think he had an okay game. He wanted some corners. But, man, I've said it multiple times. Reevaluating what you think of Martinelli. Yes, the reevaluation has helped my perception of him. But, oof, you wish for better things sometimes. Yesterday was the enigma of Martinelli. Some good things, some bad. I guess it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is, dude. And that's why I say, yeah, we got to kind of get used to this being Martinelli at this moment in time. This is him. He's going to have his ups. He's going to have his downs. And look, it's hard to criticize him too much for the chance because the best finisher in the club had a similar opportunity and the keeper was up to it again. That was a better save, I thought.
Got his big paw to it, man. Got his big paw to it. Say for both chances, it seemed like the ball got stuck under the player. Martinelli, it did seem like it, for some reason, got stuck under him. Trossard's chance, it got stuck under him. They weren't clean strikes. I felt a lot better about Trossard's. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, he got a big paw to it. It went wide. That's the game, right? That's the game. PSG score a banger off a shank, off his shin. An absolute banger. We have 2 clear on goal chances, and we didn't put them in.
Yeah, and
That's
the
game.
Yeah, and the one that we did put in was offside. That could have really changed the tie, right? Mikel Merino, 46 minute, right off the start of the second half. Good header, fun celebration. I enjoyed it. Kind of like a I am him celebration from him. But you just knew he was going to be called offside. I waited so long to post anything about it because I just had a feeling this one's coming back.
Tough. An interesting part is the referee had been talking to our players a bit about how we make those runs from like back to in, jumping from offside to onside. I obviously don't know what the referee's saying. I think it's more about the pushing than anything. But yeah, they were right on that. PSG were complaining, I think, about the pushing. They weren't even complaining about the offside. They were just complaining about the pushing. But they showed the technology. He was offside. Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's the beauty of the technology. Although it did take a long time, even with the technology. I thought it took at least 4 minutes for them to make that call. But, our keeper also made some good saves. Before the game, I was expecting at least 2 spectacular saves from David Raya. And he made one that I remember that I thought, man, he got down so fast for that. I was so sure Doué was going to score. When he was cutting across, I just feel like this is a goal. I've seen this movie before.
That Doué save was incredible. Doué, good player, man. That dude's quick. That dude's quick. He had us going backwards a few times. Huge save. I think he had a couple more. That's just the one that really stands out in your mind. Like, that was the big moment because that could have got us 2-0 down easily. Very easily. Big save. Obviously, Donnarumma had a huge game. Huge saves from him. Kept his team on top. I mean, that's football, right? That's the game. I gotta say, I wish we had a few more clear-cut chances. So you have the Martinelli one. You had the Trossard one. You have an offside goal. There was another chance where Martinelli was offside by his whole body that I think they didn't even call it offside on the field. Had it gone in, they would have called it, but he put it wide. Not a whole lot of chances, KP. I think when Eric came in late, had a chance to shoot. I really wanted that thing to come off his foot, but he passed it instead. That's the only downside of the game. Not like we created a ton on them. But we've seen these PSG games. We mentioned it last pod. A lot of their games become open-ended. They've conceded a lot of shots. There is no doubt about that. They will concede shots. So hopefully the second leg we got our shooting boots on.
I felt like there were goals there yesterday. And maybe that's why my mood isn't as down as maybe it should be. Because I feel like, to your point, yeah, we had the chances that we should convert. Like, you expect 1 out of the 2 to go in for those Trossard and Martinelli shots, right? All right, well, it went 2 for 2. It happens. I do feel like there's a little bit of a talking point around the manager. As soon as we get a bad result, here they come, dude. Arteta out. Been telling you this manager's not good enough. Same people who were saying best results ever against Real Madrid under Mikel Arteta. So trying to draw conclusions is really difficult. But personally, I think you brought up the point saying, well, what changes could he have really made as like subs being his change makers? I don't know. I do feel like, maybe a Ben White right back, Timber left back, Luis Skelly middle, Marino up top. Maybe that's a change you can roll with. But again, it goes back to him being so hesitant to try some of these things. And maybe it is Mikel Arteta, dude. I do feel like going into the game, I thought, they're going to play football against us. It's exciting. We do well when teams play football against us, but I don't know. Where do you stand on the manager? Because for me, I'm a little bit down on him, but not too harshly.
It's a tough one. I think it's a really tough one to assess. As of now, I think hopefully someone with a level head can rewatch the game and tell us what happened. Those first 20 minutes go by. All I can think is we need to change something. The tactics need to change. Can I tell you what needs to change? No, but something needs to change. I can tell you that much. So second half, I would say something did change. We really got a foothold of the game. The ship was rocking. We steadied it. We're moving forward. The subs, this is a kind of a lose-lose situation, I think. I think what you said is a perfect example of us watching the game as a fan, being like, why can't we put him into the midfield? Let's make a few changes. But imagine if that backfires on us. What's going to happen immediately? You're putting this kid into the midfielder that's never played in a senior game in the midfield. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Now again, and if it works out though, he's a mastermind. He's an absolute mastermind. We know Mikel's conservative as they come, it seems, right? Risk averse. He says, I know what I have. I'm not even going to try something that I've never tried before. So he stick with his tried and true. I do think he should have made earlier subs. I'll go ahead and say that. Earlier subs. When Neri comes on in the 90th minute for Odegaard, we're talking about an invisible Odegaard. Why not the 85th? Why not the 80th? Just run that out. Give that a shot. I don't see what the harm in that is. If for some reason we get another goal against us when Neri comes on, I'm not blaming the decision to sub him on. Your player has to perform. That's not on the manager. So I don't put too much on him, and that's just based on what's available to him. That's where I stand.
Yeah, but I share your sentiment. Ethan Nwaneri should have come on earlier. I agree. I mean, if you're sitting here and you're saying the captain was our worst player, and he played a full 90, and we gave just a little dead 5 minutes to this kid. And to your point, like, we were already exposed for the second goal with Odegaard on the field, right? They had their chances. They hit the post. They hit the crossbar. I think he was on, too. I don't think he was offside for that. So, it's not like Odegaard is the one preventing us from getting that second goal scored on us. So we need a goal. That's the one. That's the one I would knock him for. I don't know, man. Anything else you want to chat about on the Champions League side?
So we mentioned the referee. I don't know if you have any strong opinions. I believe a talking point today might be the Timber incident on number 7. In the first half, he had dribbled past him, and then he put his arm around his stomach. I think number 7 felt the arm come across him, so he went down. What did you think of that?
Well, when I watched it live, I had no idea what happened. I did feel like there was a situation, there was another situation in the game where Hakimi knocked the ball really long and Trossard fouled him, but I don't think he was going to get to that ball. Mm-hmm. And the ref called the foul. He gave Trossard a yellow, but Louis Skelly was maybe 4 or 5 steps ahead of Hakimi. He was going to get to that ball. It was a bad long touch. That's how I felt the penalty situation was too. Because yes, he dribbled those guys, but then I thought the ball got away from him and our defender cleared it. So I think that was the mindset of the referee, that he wasn't going to get to the ball. Therefore, it's not a foul or a penalty. I haven't watched it back. I need to sort of see that slow-mo to see what exactly happened. But that's where I sit on it today.
I think that's fair enough. I don't see us getting that call, so I don't feel bad about it. In the middle of the field, is it a foul? Yeah, it probably is. But in the box, I mean, how many times have you seen moments like that? It happens, I want to say, all the time. But yeah, I think that's a good shout. The ball was basically out of his control at that point. I don't think he was going to get to it. I didn't really think it was a penalty. Overall, I'm glad this referee's not going to be reffing the second leg. I felt like the moment was a bit too big for him. He lost it early. That's a good shout on that Trossard yellow. When that came out, it's like, what the heck is he doing? That doesn't make any sense. He gave Saka the yellow for kicking the ball away for dissent. That foul was a sham. Mendes is looking for contact. He barely gets touched and stutter falls. He knows he fucked up. He knew he fucked up right there. And the linesman throws his flag up, and they had the slow-mo, and I saw the referee's face, the AR's face. He was, I kind of feel like he regretted putting his flag up right away. Damn, I shouldn't have done that. Should have played it on. There was there were quite a few soft fouls. I don't think we got home field treatment yesterday.
No, I would agree with that. And look, I'm not sitting here. I think a lot of times when fans of other teams and even your own team hear you speaking about refs, they automatically think that you're saying the ref is against us. I didn't feel like the ref was against us. I just thought he was making mistakes. Like, he's human, right? He's just like us, and he was making a few mistakes, a few calls that, to your point, were soft. That Mendes foul, that is absolutely a sham, dude. You could see Mendes falling over before any contact, and then he didn't get the first one, and then the second one he fell over, actually. So, I'll just say that for the referee, that I don't think he was against Arsenal. I don't think he went into that game thinking I'm going to make calls more for PSG and try to, get these guys knocked out. I just felt like he made a few mistakes. Something's got away from him. And then he made some really good calls. He did make good calls. I think there's a lot of people asking for penalties for that Marino chance that João Neves beat him to the ball. Or maybe it was Vitinha. I don't remember. Kiwior ended up with the ball, passed it to Marino. I didn't think it was a penalty. There was another tackle that they had just like that where they just beat our guy to the ball at the last minute. I thought the ref made the right calls there.
That's a great shout, KP. It's a footballing pod. That's a great shout. There was a few moments I was like, damn, that's a foul. And they show it on the slow-mo. Damn, dude touched the ball. Like, shit. And you can see the referee hands on his knees looking, right? One of those moments. He's watching. Same thing with we're talking about this Timber incident with number 7. The referee was standing watching it. So, yeah, that's early in the game. But throughout, you can trust his judgment maybe on those incidents where it's like very fast paced. I just thought he was breaking up the game quite a bit. It had a bad flow to it. It's a semifinal. I think you expect more of I love a referee that it's a 50-50 and he immediately puts his hand like, get up. We're moving on. I'm not doing anything. We're moving on, boys. Keep playing. I love that kind of referee. So I'm hoping that's more of a second leg referee we get.
I hear you on that. And look, on the referee part, I'll just end it with this, that I saw a lot of neutrals watching. People with EFC, LFC, other things in their who said online, this ref needs halftime more than the players. He had lost that first half, dude. It was obvious to everyone.
Yeah, I think he had made quite a few calls he probably ended up regretting, right? So, fair enough. Second half, I don't think he was terrible. Overall, again, I think we can go. I do believe we can go there and come out with a result. I truly believe that. 1-0. We had watched the Villa game. Remember the first leg, it was 2-1 in Paris. And they let PSG score in like the 95th minute. Their left back, Mendes, went on a run. 3-1. It ended 3-1 because of a 95th minute goal. And that cost Villa the tie. Now I'm going to put on my glass half full hat and say, they hit the post, they hit the crossbar, and we came out 1-0. I feel okay about that. I think we can go to Paris and come out with the result.
I agree. After that game, I thought, this could have been a lot worse. The way it ended, it could have been a lot worse. It's 1-0 at half. It's okay. It's okay, dude. And honestly, this entire season and seasons past, I think you can make the argument we are a better away team. We do better away. So that's going to potentially help us. And 2, the most important thing, Steven, you asked me, 5.5 over under for the full tie. And as of this moment, it looks like it's under 5.5. Under 5.5 favors the Arsenal. And you can take that to the fucking bank.
You can take that to the bank. Absolutely. We're not a full fit squad, and the players we have available to us weren't available yesterday. I take that as a positive. With the players we do have available, we're going to have a fully fit squad, running our best 11 into that one. Big rotation at the weekend. I don't care about Bournemouth at home. I do not care, KP. Sterling sighting? Sure. Go ahead. Give it to me. Waneri? Yeah, I'd love to see it. Kieran Tierney? Get the man on the field. One last hurrah at home. I'm looking for a full fit squad, TP5 in the 6. We run it. We run it at PSG in Paris.
I share your sentiment, dude. We play Bournemouth at home again, back home. So let's see what the atmosphere is going to be like. I don't want to see any empty seats. Let me tell you that right now. And 12:30 on a Sunday? No, on a Saturday. So rotate absolutely. Zinchenko, get him in there. Ethan Waneri, I don't mind him playing. You know, maybe he plays on the right wing and Sterling plays on the left, but give the wingers a break, right? I don't want to see Saka. Martinelli, sure, he can run for days, but all eyes are on Wednesday, man. I totally hear you. That second leg, scoreline doesn't matter. Liverpool they're getting their guard of honor, something like that, where all the players are gonna have to clap for them for these last 4 games. So that's whack, but it is what it is, man. The last thing we have is here, and that's, I think, the one part of it that hurts the most about the results, about that first 30 minutes. Like, expectations were high for that PSG game. I did not feel the same way at all that I did going into the Real Madrid games. I actually was confident. I was expecting us to perform, and that's when the letdown really gets you.
Oof. I am with you 100%. I felt good going into yesterday's game. Felt pretty good about it. To get that goal in the 4th minute, I mean, that's just a huge letdown, right? We're talking about the atmosphere in the crowd. I wish we could have heard a bit more from our fans. Shout out to the Ultras from PSG. They were insane yesterday, man. You know the stadium's going to be rocking next week. But to your point, we are a good away team. We actually have some of our best results away from home versus at home. Away versus at home. It seems like when we drop a stinker, it usually is at home for whatever weird reason. So lights will be bright. Some of these players are best when that happens. I'm still buzzing for the second leg, man. I'm glad it's only 1-0.
Me too, dude. But, you know, the letdown at the stadium, you're like, for some reason, we have our worst performances at home, and it's our fans. It's our fans being observers inside this stadium. I mean, the Ultras, I think, were at the Emirates Stadium like 30 minutes early, singing, banging their drum. It's going to be the same thing at their place. Like, they were playing the game before it even started, whereas our fans are watching and waiting for a moment to get them up, to get them going. And it feels like it should be in reverse a little bit.
Yeah, and I remember the first time we played them in the group stage, right? In the table phase of the Champions League. It was at home. We beat them 2-0. At the 90th minute, their fans were buzzing. They were going crazy. And we were winning the game 2-0 against them. So I don't think they care. They just don't care. They back their squad.
Yeah, they just don't care. And it is fun to see them bouncing. They were like jumping up and down from minute 1. It's pretty fun to see that little away section just buzzing. Gotta give them credit, man. All right, buddy. Anything else you want to get on the pod before we wrap this one up?
No, I'm going with a 2-0 prediction on Saturday.
Against Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Did we sign Neto from Bournemouth?
Yes. I think so.
I think so, too. I don't know if he's tied up or not. I wouldn't mind seeing Neto, for example. But I feel like we get scored on. I don't know. Bournemouth are a good team. I'd say 2-2. I'm feeling a 2-2.
That's fair. And also, you got to give Liverpool a shout out. I'm glad you said that. I was just gonna completely gloss over that. Shout out Liverpool for finally doing it. I'm glad we don't have to hear after every single Arsenal game about where they're at in the title race that was over in December. That's done. Don't have to hear it anymore. Shout out Liverpool. You did it. Congrats.
Do you think it's weird that it feels like they're defending their title, their fans? I feel like online, their fans are really defending this title, and it's not the first time we've experienced this. I think even with City, the last couple of years, after they win, they like really try to defend that title and say like why they were better than you, why they deserved it, why they beat you. It's like, I don't know, man. There is a lot of external factors. I do agree. You did well. Congratulations. But you're feeling kind of self-conscious about the trophy yourself is a little bit odd to me.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of discussion about that. I mean, that's just the world we live in today, right? People are going to be saying you didn't deserve it. Well, look at the rest of the league, blah, blah, blah. I think as a Liverpool fan, you need to look at your internal. Just look at your squad. You can only play who's in front of you. You did well. You're going to end up with a decent point total. But obviously, as someone outside of that club, you're looking at the title race as a whole. What title race? Nobody else could really challenge. No one's going to end up on our point total, we're going to crack 70, I think. We're not going to reach 80 points. I don't see that happening. So, yes, look at yourselves. You had a good season. But obviously, everyone else is looking at themselves, looking at who else was competing with them. The levels just weren't there. That's why I think they feel like they have to defend it, because it wasn't dramatic. And it wasn't two 90-point teams going at each other. That just didn't happen this year. So they feel a certain type of way about that, I believe.
No, that's true. That's true. That's well put, man. I'll tell you this, though. I do get a little bit of satisfaction out of seeing the best player in the league win the league. They have the best player in the league, potentially in the world. I mean, I haven't seen anyone play to the level of Mo Salah this season. And so I'll give them that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mo Salah had a fantastic season. Van Dijk stayed healthy most of the season. Alisson, I'm going to say, is probably the best keeper in the world. They have a ton of great talent in their squad. They stayed healthy. Respect to them. I think Van Dijk signed a new contract that was an insane amount. He's going to be making incredible money. Deserved, right? He's one of the best center backs in the world for years now. But when it comes to summer and Liverpool start complaining about teams buying players, look at their wages. Go ahead and look at their wages. I think they have the second highest wage, total in the league, other than City. So remember that when they complain about everyone spending money except themselves, it's because their money is invested in their team, and that's a great way to go about it, obviously.
All right, man. Well, we'll leave it there. We'll thank everyone for spending time with us. Keep your heads up. Everything's gonna be all right. Namaste. There's a whole other leg to be played. We'll see how it goes. Enjoy the game at the weekend, and we will see you on the other side.
Be easy.